Do it on both. Okay. Good morning. This is the breathing workshop, breath workshop. And the point of this workshop today is to bring more awareness of the power of our breath because the breath is so natural, right? But it also is giving us so much information about ourselves. There's a feedback of information and um, awareness that we can get from using our breath intentionally. So during this class, I'm going to teach you some techniques and we're also going to practice them. And then I'm also going to give you some background just on the energy systems in general, because as a society as a whole, we don't really learn those things early on. Some people never learn them, right? You learn them because you are seeking out that information. You want to know more about natural healing or energy. But I feel like that should be common knowledge. And that's why I'm sharing these things so, frequently and so passionately is because, yeah, it should be common knowledge that we understand energy systems. We understand how to use our breath to change our energy, to change our health, and just empowering ourselves with more ways to heal naturally and be empowered when you know that, right? Like when you know that you can heal your own chronic illnesses or heal your own imbalances naturally without taking anything, without depending on somebody that has a special gift, like realizing that you have that healing power, that's empowering. It's like even when you get sick, if you find out, you have some kind of sickness or imbalance in your body, which is what sickness is, you react to it differently. You're like, I can do something about this, right? You don't feel helpless. You feel like you know that you can do something about this, and that's powerful. And that's really going to change how you go through life as well. And also, this is a touch into emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is the next workshop that I'm doing. But this goes into that because we're first going to get more aware of our energy, what it feels like in our body, and actually have some visuals to put to it. So I made this wonderful presentation for you, and it's going to really help make everything a lot clearer, make it easy. And I put a lot of work into it. So, I want to share it with you. But first, let's start this class off. It's a breath workshop, right? So we're going to start off with some breathing and just do your breathing naturally. I have a good feeling that at the end of the class, when we do your breathing, you'll experience it differently. Okay. So if you can adjust your posture so that you're sitting up straight, you feel aligned, you have your back is straight, but not, stiff, and rolling your shoulders back opens up your chest. So if you got some stiff neck, it's always good to roll it around. And as we're going to learn in this class, when you are stiff physically, it also inhibits the flow of energy. Energy is not going to flow as freely, and you're not going to be able to carry as much powerful, strong energy if you are not flexible, if you're stiff. Okay. So roll your shoulders back, sitting up straight. Take a deep breath in and out through your nose. And you want to feel your diaphragm. We're going to talk more about that later, but instead of focusing on your stomach going out, focus on filling up your chest. You're filling up the lower parts of your lungs. And a lot of times we fill up the top, this thoracic breathing up here, but we want to bring that down. So just feel into where the bottom of your lungs are and breathe and fill that up. You're going to feel your rib cage expand. Okay. So let's breathe again. Out slowly and completely. Exhaling until you feel no more air in your lungs. Okay. See, those slow breaths automatically slow the way you think, you feel, you talk. So when you find yourself coiling up and going fast or rushing through something that you know you want to enjoy, or there's no reason to rush, you want to relax and take your time, then do that breath. Do a slow exhale, and that the way that you breathe is telling your mind the pace that you want to go. Okay. So because we are taking in energy with our breath, the um, the pace of that energy coming in, how we're breathing, is going to translate into how it's flowing in our bodies. It makes sense, right? And vice versa, the way that our bodies speak to us, whether I'm in stress mode or I'm relaxed or I'm scared or I'm surprised, I'm panicking, your breathing has different characteristics for all those different situations. So there's a frequency to your breath, and that frequency matches what's going on the inside. So how the energy comes out of your body in breath is just showing what's going on in the inside. It's amazing how we work. Like, I really am fascinated with how we work. And don't forget, I forgot the introduction. I am going to do my introduction as we start this presentation, okay? So, not that one. Share screen, there we go. All right. And this will be available to you like that. This will be available to you after the class. So don't worry about missing some points. This one's nice. So welcome to the interactive virtual breath workshop. And I made this class so that you can really take away ways to implement breathing into your daily life. And also progressively, what this does is you're going to experience progressive healing, right? Like what I noticed for myself was as I started breathing intentionally, I started to see differences in just how I felt, my skin, my body, even doing yoga and stretching, like your body shape changes. And over time, my responses to things changed. Like it wasn't so trigger happy or like, quick to respond. It was more like chilling, And that's what I really love about having this as a lifestyle, when you know how to breathe and meditate and do it just in the moment. Don't need to sit down and make it a ritual every time. Just do it in the moment. Then you'll be able to like take control of situations where usually you lose your shit and feel bad afterwards for how you reacted. So less of that and more of just feeling sure of ourselves and enjoying our lives in the moment. Okay. Gentle reminders. While other people are coming in, here's some friendly rules. And this is to make sure that the learning experience is maximized, okay? So turn your camera on so we can see you, so you can be present and get more out of it. If you're not able to turn on your camera because of the situation, that's fine. That's fine. Please avoid filling with your phone, mute it for me time, okay? And send questions using the chat. So you guys see the chats on the right side. You can put your questions in the chat and I'll answer them at the end. And, or you can email them to me, but we're here, so email them to me. Send them to me in the chat. Move, I'm telling you to move. Okay. All right, so on the agenda today, we're going to cover moving energy with your breath. So using that mind to body connection and moving energy, directing it. We're going to go over energy, body anatomy, so meridians and chakras, energy, emotional signatures. That's really going to help us connect with what our energy looks like in our bodies when we feel certain ways, whether it's sad, happy, love, all those. And then we're going to do body scan to deepen our awareness. A body scan is the most useful thing when just starting to be more aware of your body, your energy, because it just creates a very easy moment. It's really about creating the space for you to perceive what's already there. So that's what the body scan does. It creates that space for you to just be in your body and feeling. Mindful breathing techniques and applications. So I'm going to teach you 5 techniques, and a lot of them are just this or that. So it's not like you're going to be 5 whole different practices. These are really simple tools that you can use in any moment. And then we're going to be practicing a breathwork practice. So a full breathwork practice, as if you would do it like a workout. It's like a breathing workout. And the results from breathing like that, you get a lot more energy physically and mentally, like you feel balanced because you have set the pace. You've paced your energy. You've set it in some kind of harmony. You've given it order instead of just waking up and just letting that shit run wild and letting the day and other people dictate the flow of your energy in your body. Okay, so this is about being accountable for your experience of your life. And for those of you who don't know me, I don't know if I'm going to read all this, but my name is Courtney Garner. That is my government name. And I'm the founder and wellness director at Green Body Wellness. And I used to be a nurse, but I quit. And I wanted to do it my way. I wanted to take care of people the way that I saw resonated with me and really worked. And that was more natural ways, less medications, a lot more diet and movement. And what I learned halfway through my nursing career was the energetic side of it, the spiritual side of it. And I was really blessed to have some great experiences as a nurse before I retired. And it really just reiterated what I felt about healing, how natural is best, and how we can and should tap into that natural ability. And by working with energy, just practicing with it on a regular basis. So I'm thinking like, 2 generations from now, we can be superhumans. It's possible. All it takes is practice, right? I can tell you myself, I used to have chronic asthma and it was bad. Like I was running with my inhaler because I really wanted to work out, but running long distance gave me an asthma attack. Fumes, chemicals gave me an asthma attack. Cats gave me asthma attacks. What else? Laughing. Did I say that one? Sometimes I'll laugh myself into an asthma attack. It's terrible because I love laughing. And so the exercise thing was really getting on my nerves. And I had already been practicing Tibetan Buddhist Tantra and meditating a lot, done Reiki healing. So I was like, I know what to do about this. Like, I'm not just going to keep taking this inhaler. So I did. I developed a program for myself that worked for me using visualization, um, meditation, breathing, mindful breathing, and just the same things that I'm going to teach you today, especially the ones about relaxing the nervous system. So try to get through this a little faster. I'm a little slow. I was born in Muskegon, Michigan, raised in California, and I am a global citizen. So I am looking forward to living in different parts of the world, going back to Africa for even longer than I was there last time. And yeah, I love the earth. And I love my people. That's me. So I like long walks on the beach. I do actually, but everybody says that. And I do wellness lifestyle training and promoting a natural living and healing. So you'll see that I do wellness remedies. I like to make recipes for cleanses, for natural medicine, like all this season, ginger, garlic, turmeric, everywhere, every week. So that is how I take care of my immunity. And then keeping my stress level low. We're going to learn in this presentation, in this class, how your stress is affecting your health and the long-term effects of it. So what is breath work? It's literally just using your breath for better health and wellness. And there's different traditional systems of breath work. One of my favorite ones is Qigong, Tibetan wind training. And there's a book that I'm going to show you. Might as well show you now. This is the book that I like that really is good for learning simple ways to implement wind training into your life. And it works with the elements too, which we're going to touch on today. And pranayama training. So again, it's a Tibetan tradition, and it's focused on using the breath to cleanse, purify the energy, purify your winds, and you have different winds. So in a way, wind training, energy training, same thing. Energy, breathing is the exchange of energy with your environment. It helps lower stress, and we're going to see how that's linked to a lot of chronic disorders. Can I move this? Okay, go somewhere else. Okay, no, you better go back. There you go. Okay, so this part is what I wanted you to see. See this upper diaphragm right here? This is the one that we're used to working with under our rib cage, breathing in our lungs. And at the same time, you're creating this pressure within the cavities of your body. This is your thoracic cavity, your abdominal cavity. Thoracic cavity is your chest, and your lungs. Abdominal cavity is your guts and all that. And then you have your pelvic cavity. So your end of your pelvic cavity is your pelvic floor muscles. And that is what's moving in synchronicity with your diaphragm. So imagine when those muscles at the pelvic floor are tight. It could be tight for many reasons. We'll cover that in the sexual wellness class. But pelvic floor is tight, your diaphragm, you're breathing thoracically, so it's not even getting its full contraction and expansion, right? And so you create this imbalanced energy flow, this friction. It's like they're moving different spaces. Some are not moving fully. So the pressure, there is a healthy pressure for each body, right? In your cavities. And when that's off, you feel, first of all, you have gut problems. That's when you feel yourself is, your gut's not moving. You feel ungrounded. It can be a lot of different things. Emotional distress, because this is where your gut is, where your serotonin is made. So posture is body language. Right now, we're going to take a little break and talk about posture, because I want to see what your posture is right now. So you can check yourself. How are you sitting? Is your spine up straight? Is your spine curved? Is it something that you can do and sit like this for a minute? Okay. Hi, Greg. Okay, so sitting up. The other thing you want to do too is, just like this lady at the computer, which is me at the computer a lot, you tend to strain your neck because you're looking down. Even on the phone, right? We're looking down on the phone. So these neck muscles get really tight. And when they get tight, energy is not flowing as much, especially in the head area. So how you'll be working, you'll get tight, and then your brain's not working. Like you're not processing quickly, you just feel kind of dumb or slow. And a lot of times it's that tightness. If we don't do anything about it, it stops so much energy flow. And energy is also blood flow. Energy, the circulatory systems that we know is blood and our nervous system. We know that's the signals and nervous, firing is going on in the nervous system. But the meridians, which we're going to talk about next, is a precursor to all that. Energy is first, right, before the physical manifestation. So it's really important for us to understand what's happening energetically. And that way, when you can sense that imbalance and bring yourself back to balance, you're going to really avoid a lot of that physical distress that is often where we get to before we do something about it. So sitting up straight, and a lot of times you'll slouch. I'm a sloucher, especially if I'm sitting at the wrong seat, and also a leaner. Like there's a certain side that you tend to lean on, right? So this is my side. And so what I did was put pillows in my chairs. And then I also had got, what is this called? A ball chair. So the big ball chair that doesn't have a back. So I kind of have to sit up, and it's nice because it makes you support yourself with, your body weight in a upward way. So I changed my chair. And then also mentally, I had to put a cue in my mind. I want to sit up straight. I want to mind my posture. I want to make sure I'm getting energy flowing, because that's really what we're talking about, is sitting up straight so energy can flow. Because when I do this, like over time, I feel that in my gut. Like I've literally sat like this. And then when I got up, I got cramps in my stomach because I was, of course, blocking a lot of stuff, energy, blood, food digesting. So posture is important. And another good thing too is when you're doing wind training, you can always lay down. In the morning when I wake up, I do this lazy meditation where I just lay there and just breathe. And it's really relaxing. So I try not to jump out of bed like I was raised to do. I try to actually just relax first and then slowly rise out of bed. And it only takes like, a minute. It doesn't take a long time for you to relax your body. All right. So the benefits of breath work. First thing it does is oxygenate your organs, right? We need that. Let me move us out the way. There we go. So oxygenate your organs, and then it moves energy to relieve emotional and physical tension. When we have that lack of movement, when we have those stuck places, that stiffness, we do experience emotional tension. Like I told you, you can bend your gut and then just have all that energy being blocked. And you can experience mental tension, like when I was saying up here in your neck, this is going to cause mental tension. So they're all related. There is no separation when it comes to how energy is moving in your body. And it's also a way that it's a pathway that you can always use to really feel how you're really feeling, like to be honest with yourself and like have an honest moment where you're just like, how am I really feeling? And I'm just going to read the energy. I'm not going to look for words, think about what I should feel, what's appropriate. Just read the energy and trust it. Breathing also is going to, or breath work is going to lower your heart rate and your blood pressure. Not to say that if you drink, you have high blood pressure, that this is just what you should do when you eat like some salty fries. But practicing this will lower your hypertension. And I'm not going to make any, medical cure things, because those are always troublesome, but it lowers your blood pressure. So if you practice doing it frequently over time, gradually, you are going to lower your blood pressure, just like you would strengthen a muscle by doing the same exercise over time, right? This is breathing exercise, energy exercise. So it's going to reduce depression, anxiety, and stress. So any of those mental imbalances that we experience when energy is not flowing. And it's not that we feel this way because that's how energy is flowing. It's a loop, right? We feel this way and energy is showing how we feel. And it's not that it's one that's causing the other. But because of that relationship, we can use it to get some information to be like, okay, what's going on with me? How did I really react to this? Sometimes you think that you're cool with something. You think that you're not really affected by it. But if you feel into how you feel, your gut, if you feel into your heart, your head, checking on like their headspace, what's going on in there, you'll see like, oh, okay, I was affected. Like I feel like this knot in my stomach, or I feel this knot in my throat where I'm not saying what I want to say. And so I was affected. And now that you know where the energy is stuck, you can work directly with that instead of doing what us humans always like to do, is do a bunch of other dramatic bullshit trying to solve our problems. And it's like, first go in with yourself and check your energy, see what you can do about it, see what you feel, and pay more attention to that, because that's what matters the most. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our reactions to every situation, responsible to our reactions and how we experience life, our ignorance of life. If we ignore the beauty or the pleasure that's in front of us, ignore the relationships in front of us, we're responsible for that. And it's not a bad thing. It just means that you're in power. Let me see. I got a chat thing. Oh, she gave me some hype. See, I love it. I love it. Y'all can definitely use the chats to give me some emojis and stuff and comments if you are agreeing with what I'm saying. It's kind of like the live experience, where it's like you're on Instagram live and they can see your comments. Because I know you have, I can't hear you, but I can feel that you're with me while I'm talking. And another thing it does is it enhances your sexual experience and pleasure. And I'm really excited for this class on that, just where you can focus on that. But I'm gonna give you one example of, if you are one big issue with men in this world, and most countries, is not being able to last long or having no control over their ejaculation, right? It busts too fast. And one of the things that breathing does, just by breathing through your nose mindfully, will change that, like, completely. It will change it completely. Because what's happening when you are getting excited and when you are disconnected from the actual full arousal, because you're just going so much faster that you can't even really see what's going on. You're zooming through that experience. Your breath, like I said, it helps to pace your energy. It helps to create the harmony that you're creating with your breath. So when you put your mind to it, to your body, you create that synchronicity. And so that's going to help you to feel more is going on and feel in sync with the waves of whether it's pleasure, whether it's emotion that's going on, and feel relaxed in your body so that you can feel more. When we're stressed and tense, your sensation goes down. Okay. And that's one thing with sexual pleasure, is when you're tight in your pelvic floor, there's less blood flow. You can become numb, right? When my foot goes to sleep, usually it's because the blood stopped flowing, and then it blocks some nerves, just pressure everywhere, nothing's flowing. So your foot goes numb. And there's definitely areas in our body that are not getting the energy that they need. And so they are, in a way, numb. And there's not as much nerve action going on there, or even nerve fibers. And you can grow them. With your attention, you tell your body where to grow its sensory cells, right? If you start to give attention to your elbow, like you'll start to feel more pleasure in your elbow. The nerve endings there will start to grow and be more sensitive in that area. It's crazy how it works. I love it. So if you see this thing right here, I want you to look at this diaphragm before I go to the next page. This muscle right here, it contracts to flatten and open up. It pulls air in basically. When it relaxes, that's when you exhale. So your exhale is a relaxing of the muscle, whereas your inhale is a contraction of the muscle. So relaxed is like a dome, like woo, it's your diaphragm right there. And then when you breathe, it contracts and flattens out. So sense into that right now. I want you to take a deep breath. And one thing that could be helpful is, instead of feeling the front, like your stomach going out as you inhale, I want you to put your attention more towards your spine, towards the back of your pelvis. I mean, of your abdominal cavity. So think more like in the back of your belly button. Okay. So when you breathe into that, feel how your diaphragm flattens. Your lungs go out, right? They open up more space to fill that cavity with air. And then when they relax, your lungs collapse and that diaphragm relaxes back. So overall, you're creating more space, less space, right? Even the lungs are opening up and creating more space, less space, more space, less space, okay? And just by practicing how you breathe, putting attention on it, you're going to slow down your heart rate, slow down how you feel. I'm over here following this GIF, but you know what I mean. So we're going to do that practice right now. I'm going to take a deep breath, and I'm going to start you with the first breath we're going to do, which is breath retention. And that's holding your breath. And when I first started breath retention, I did 1-2 seconds. I couldn't hold my breath. I'm telling you, I was like wound up. And now it's like 5 seconds. You can do it for a long time. And as you do more breath retention, your respiratory rate, how often you breathe, slows down. And you can do this practice so that you're breathing 4 times a minute, like 4 breaths a minute. And I've done that, and it's very slow. And it's like you can be sitting there for the longest time without needing any air. So what we're going to do is inhale through our nose. I want you to feel that diaphragm, that pressure right here, flatten. Feel the pressure in your abdominal and your lungs, flatten. And then you're going to hold it for as long as you can, but 2 to 5 seconds, okay? And then you're going to exhale again through your nose, slowly. So let's do it. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Sorry, now exhale. I'm going to do that again, and check and see, just notice if you are breathing, taking in that next breath mentally, or if you're taking in your next breath intuitively. So do you need to breathe when you feel like you need to breathe? Or is it just you in your head thinking, I'm breathing, I'm practicing my breathing right now, so let me just take another breath in. Pay attention to that, and that moment where you exhale completely, just sit there for a minute and allow your breath to come to you. All right, let's take a deep breath in through the nose and hold it. Exhale. Okay, so what did you notice different about your inhale this time? And you can put it in the chat. All right, just meant to push next. So I'm feeling relaxed. I feel like by the end of this class, I'm about to be asleep. About to be asleep. Let me see, was that a chat? Okay. So breathing boosts energy, and this energy can be directed through those channels to specific areas to heal the body. And I really love this picture because it's a really old picture. It's like, it's one of those ancient arts, ancient practices where they have pictures of meridians, things that even now we can't see, but the science has proven it. The healing has proven that that's what's going on inside, that we have energy centers and that we have meridians. And that's why a lot of things like acupuncture works, because they're working with the meridians. They're working with the energy centers. This is just an overview of what meridians look like. They're not visible to our naked eye, but they are supported through science, through the nervous system, the different nerve bundles and their functions, and also the organs. And when you go for acupuncture or any kind of medicinal treatment that works with energy and these meridians, and you notice a difference in whether a lot of times it works with the gut too. Like there's been so much healing that's happened with the gut with acupuncture. And like I was saying, it's one of your energy centers that's involved with your grounding. It is your sense of enjoyment, digesting your food, right? So it makes a lot of sense that we can get healing in those ways. So this is one of the really fun things we're going to do. Okay. I want you to look at these different emotions, and I'm going to explain what I see in them, but also in the chat, if you can put in the answers to some of these questions. Feel great. I feel like relaxed. I feel though I need to inhale quicker after holding my breath. Yes. So what happens is your body is wanting to regulate. Let me turn this off. Your body is wanting to regulate CO2, right? You're exchanging energy with the environment. The environment's taking in oxygen, and then you're giving out CO2, right? So you're exchanging. It's like directly. And what happens when you are breathing and you exhale, you're breathing out the CO2. And then what we think should happen is, oh, like I should want more oxygen right now. But actually your body is trying to get rid of more CO2. So it depends on where you're at. If you've done deep breathing before this, or if you're just got out of the, doing a workout, and what levels you're at right now, because that's going to, dictate also how your breathing goes, how easy it is to get into that calmness. But you know what? The trick that I was going to do with you guys later as well is exhaling before you take a deep breath. And that's because of, like I was saying, that your body wanting to get rid of that CO2. So exhale, like get rid of all the air in your lungs. And then allow your body to take in that inhale. And automatically it's so much fuller. So try it. Exhale, like blow every little bit of air out of your lungs until you feel that internal kind of caving in pressure. And then when you inhale, you'll easily balloon up a lot more. And men have a greater lung capacity than women. So if you're ever doing an exercise with a man, or you're even just synchronizing your breathing, and Greg, if you're doing it with a woman, Know that she has different lung capacity than you. So it's important when you're doing synchronized breathing, or you're trying to just lay with them and synchronize your breathing, which is a really nice way to bond. Um, you'll have to, listen and adjust and find each other, find a medium, a happy medium for each other, instead of her trying to get into yours. And it's like, yo, it's like a short person trying to walk with a tall person. But with breath practice, your lung capacity grows. It really does, because you're breathing so much fuller. You're stretching out the space and stretching out your diaphragm, which if you've been holding your stomach in America, we like to look skinny. We like to have flat stomachs. And so to do that, you hold it in a lot, for pictures, or, some people just do it all the time. And I know that I did it for a while. I remember, like my whole 20s, I thought I was just holding it in. And I was fit too, but it was just something that I was taught as a young child to hold it in, suck it in, and it never got out of my mind. And so first of all, I had to be aware of that. And then I had to realize when I was doing it, and then put something in place, put a new, I'm going to say trigger, but it's like a trigger. It's a positive trigger. Put a new positive trigger in place where whenever I notice I'm doing it, I breathe, I push out, and I relax, because I'm holding in, right? That's the tendency. If one of your physical tendencies is to hold in here, it could be pulling up on your back. It could be caving in your chest and dropping your shoulders. If it's anything that's like that going inwards, what you want to do is open it back up. Okay. And you have to be aware of your body when it's doing that. And yes, so when you are sucking in a lot, it gets stiff. Your diaphragm gets stuck, gets stiff. And so it could take time for you to release it. Basically, you're stretching it out. Doing those deep breathings is literally doing yoga on the inside of your cavities, even your thin abdominal muscles on the inside of your abdominal wall. Breathing out first works. Yes. Yes. You know what? I love Wim Hof. He's very simple and personable, and he tells it just like it is. I really like him. I've done a little course of his like some years ago when I first discovered breath work. And I did it. Yeah, I read this book and then I did a thing with him, but I haven't gone to, any of his events. But this is very much along the lines of what he talks about. Very much. Just have my own style of doing it, but it's the same thing where we're showing how you can live differently and how you can take control of your situation just by using what you already got, your breathing. It's not a special gift. It is a special gift, but everybody got it, Okay, so comparing your emotions with your energy signature. And this one is really good for looking at opposites so that you can see the difference. So even these two right here, let's look at love right here and depression. Love has seemingly a lot of lit areas up in the mind, the heart, the sacral sexual centers. So this looks like alignment, right? Everything is just feeling in alignment. It's feeling in sync. And then over here in depression, when you feel low, when you feel lack of motivation, your core is dark. That's your gut being dark. Your sexual energy is getting low. It's not really in a good place either. Your heart dark, your mind dim. So it's like the lights are out in the house. And that's what it feels like if you think about what depression feels like. So if you could remember the last time that you felt either love or depression, and if you could resonate with these images, if you can think, okay, gut, yeah, I was feeling some type of way in my gut, or not eating differently. I know for me, I like to eat when I'm not feeling good, but for some people it's opposite, right? And I remember I was younger and I was like, why y'all not eating when you're depressed? Like, that's going to make you happier. But even if you're eating when you're coping, usually it's not healthy stuff. It's like junk food and whatever it is, you don't feel good. So it doesn't matter what you put in your body. You can put dragon fruit. It still is going to not feel good because you don't feel good. And so a lot of your decisions on how you eat is more about how you feel about what you're eating than what you're eating. Not that what you're eating doesn't matter, but imagine if you were eating a lot of junk and you know you're eating a lot of junk and you know that you're not going to do anything about it and you just feel like you don't care. You just don't care. You don't feel good about that because you know better. Like you want better for yourself, right? And it's not about anybody saying how you should be. You want better for yourself. So that's going to make you feel bad. But if I'm like feeling good about my life, feeling good about myself, and I eat a cupcake or whatever it is, for me, it would be a donut. I love donuts. I'm gonna feel good about the donut. I'm gonna feel good about myself. Like I already know I'm gonna work out tomorrow. There's no worries. But that was an unhealthy food, right? But because I had a healthy mindset while eating it, because I know that I have balance, I know that I'm in control of it and that it's not harming me, then you're good. So it's more of a holistic perspective on diet. And that was a long digression for diet, but it's important, you guys. It's important. Pride, look at pride. When you feel good about yourself, your heart is full, you have positive perspective, positive thoughts going through your head. But look at sadness. You don't have positive thoughts going through your head with sadness, right? It's just kind of like having bad thoughts. And look at neutral. Neutral is a good test, a good control for this. So neutral is pretty much black, right? It's black, some blue. You're in a coma. I don't know. But neutral versus sadness versus surprise versus happiness. So if you can see the different energy signatures in that, like happiness is full of positive energy. Sadness is, dank with some negative energy. Surprise is startling, right? So it's a stress response. That's what that is. That's a stress response. And but there's good and bad stresses, right? But a surprise in the moment is a stress response where you're like, oh, am I gonna die? And yeah, so this is a really good one. I invite you to take a screenshot, or when you go back to look at this, look over it again and go through each one and just really like dive deep into them and feel into those each of those parts of your body as you think about those emotions. Thinking about shame, something that you used to feel shamed about or feel ashamed about now. How did that feel? And compare it to what you see here. It just really helps to bring understanding to your situation. Energy systems. Okay, chakra systems, there's plenty of them because there's so many different traditions, different countries, but what they do have in common is that they're energy centers that correlate with nerve bundles and organs. And each of these energy centers as well will resonate with element, sound, syllable, direction, season, taste, different things, smell. So there's really extensive charts that you can find on energy, on chakra systems. This one is the Kundalini Sanskrit chakra system. And this one, Sanskrit Tibetan system, right? So this is two different ones, but they're very similar. So the this is the Tibetan one. They have 5 chakras, and then they have 2 cap chakras that are meant to contain the energy that you harness through meditation and through energy practice. You harness infinite amount of energy, whether it's water, air, any of these, space, earth, fire, and you bring that energy back into your body, and now you're charged up. And that charged up energy is going to fill up your energy channels and do some healing work, change the whole vibration inside, right? So that's what this one's all about. And each of these syllables are mantras that you can say with each chakra. So if I was going to do a water meditation, it would have a visualization of a blue sphere, blue light located in my head. And I would say the seed syllable mom, 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 mom. So the all these end with an if you notice that, the M sound. It resonates with the heart chakra. So the intention of a Tibetan practice is to begin and end in the heart. And it shows in the seed syllables. So mom, it actually, you feel that resonance in your heart center. And all these elements, when you do a meditation with them, they start in the heart center. So a Tibetan 5-element system would be me meditating on a daily basis, picking which element I need to balance out my body, or which element I want to feel myself on. I did a lot of fire element meditations, earth, but the one I do the most of for healing work is space, because you need space in your heart. You need to develop non-judgment. You need to develop unconditional love so that you can hold space for others' healings. I can't be helping you or holding a space for you to heal, judging you, right? That's a different energy, and it goes this way, not, this way. So it's really important to have an open heart. And that's why I say lead with love. That's why it's my motto, because it's necessary. You need to have that, because it really opens up love for yourself, acceptance for yourself, and you react to things with space, right? Imagine how you react when you don't have space. You push up against, it becomes more pressure. When you don't have space, you push up against. Like, imagine going to a concert or a club when it's crowded and everybody just bumping elbows and you don't even want to dance because you can't move and everybody's just sticking on you. It's not good. But if you go early to the club and the dance floor is open or it's not so many people there, you have fun dancing and you guys are just swirling around each other, enjoying the vibe of everybody else because you have space to move. But when you don't have that, you don't enjoy the experience the same. So space, okay? And when you feel, that pressure, that buildup, space is something that you can give yourself by either going outside, going away, isolating yourself, or changing your space. Maybe you need to be in a different space that has a different vibe to it, different people, but you don't actually just need to be by yourself. Space doesn't always need to be isolated. Okay. So those energy centers correlate with different organ systems. Let's say water was your heart, or water was your brain. Your throat chakra, let me just go back really quickly because that was an important one. Your throat chakra, let's use this one because that's the one I'm used to. I made this, by the way. Does it look good? The throat chakra is your air element. And just think about that. Air flows through your throat. When you sing, air brushes your vocal cords to make that sound. When we talk, air brushes your vocal cords. So air. If you have a knot in your throat, you're not saying something that you need to say. You are holding on to something. You'll feel its tightness in your throat. Even your neck gets more stiff. Or if you're sitting wrong, right? Or if you're sleeping wrong and you start to get this tightness in your neck, and then that's affecting your throat chakra energy. And then that's affecting how you speak, right? So it's all going both ways in a continuous cycle of just gathering energy, exchanging energy with your environment, including other people, and metabolizing that within your system. And it's moving through each of those chakras and metabolizing, and that's what's creating you. Like, that's the energy that creates you, is what's swirling around in there, which involves your environment, what you ate, who you're around. So you really are made up of, you're a product of your environment. But then we also have ancestral energy, right? We have those memories in our cells that are also running through us. And that's a lot of times where that wisdom comes from, is it's in our cells. Those experiences are also there. So we're walking around with history books in our DNA and a whole library of information. Okay. So when we have these stiff bodies, when we have energy blocks, which could be caused by emotions, right? I have strong emotions that I don't want to face. I don't want to let go. I don't want to, approach them. So I block them out. I distract them. I go do other things and they still sit there. But it's a strong emotion, has a strong vibration. So it's creating pressure, right? It's vibrating, creating pressure, but I'm not allowing it to move. So now I've created energy blocks. And sometimes, most of the time it's unconscious. We naturally don't want to feel uncomfortable, but the long-term effects of that is creating more blocks in our systems. And these blocks, they disrupt the signals. So the signals from your nervous system, your brain, your heart, if all that information is not carried and relayed correctly, you're going to get mixed signals and you're going to feel off and misaligned. So having the ability to have energy flowing through you and have it being harmonious means that you're going to have a harmonious system and not a discombobulated system. Okay, so these are some practical breathing practices. These are 4 that you can implement anytime. And you can also make a practice out of any of these and do them for 10, 15. You have to make up your schedule because you want to do something that you're going to stick to. So I don't like to tell people do it for 20 minutes, but you should do it for 20 minutes at least. But if I can't do that, I'll say I'm gonna do it for 5 minutes. I'm gonna make a goal that I know I can do. And then I'm gonna double that goal or add a few minutes to it and work my way up weekly or every few days and work your way up. You don't have to commit to something big right now, knowing damn well you're not gonna do it. So be real with yourself. Number 1, breath retention, the one where you hold your breath. That's all it's about, holding your breath and having that controlled exhalation, relaxed, letting your diaphragm slowly, or actually go this way, right? Letting your diaphragm slowly release that tension. Okay. Versus going, boop, boop. That would be like, and that is actually your breath. That's the fire breath where you blow out because your inspiration, inhaling, is a consequence of your it's a consequence of your diaphragm flattening. So your exhalation is your diaphragm relaxing. I'm trying to get this. And so when you're doing this breath, you're contracting your diaphragm to get that air in, and then just letting it go and letting the air fall out. Okay. That's fire breathing. That could help you to get up in your energy, help you build up energy, get you hyper for working out. If you're sluggish, you can do that. But I wasn't going to teach you that one. That one's not even on here, but I did it. So apparently that's what needs to happen. We did breath retention. Breath retention is great to do while you're laying down in bed as well. Do that in the morning to pace yourself. You set the pace for your energy. So doing breath retention is going to do that. If you are taking in a long inhale and a shorter exhale, you might notice your heart rate speeds up, like jump out of your chest. And you're like, I did it wrong. And I mean, not that any of this is wrong. You're learning, right? You're going to learn, okay, what did I do with that breath that made my heart rate go up? You're going to play with these signals, get to know which buttons push, which switches, and how you can use them. And it's fun. It's really discovering how you work. And I think that's like one of the most fascinating things ever. So 2 inhales, 1 long exhale. That's the physiological sigh. It's a scientific term for it. And how they discovered that breath, some scientists discovered that not too long ago, is by looking at how we breathe when we're sleeping. And it's a certain way you're sleeping where you're not getting enough oxygen, and you're taking 2 inhales through your nose. And the second one is kind of like a top off. So 1 full inhale and then a top off. Exhale slowly. And you can exhale through your mouth or your nose. The difference is not really set in stone, but what I can say is that when you exhale slowly through your nose, you are slowing the process of the air going out and could be absorbing a lot more oxygen that way. Whereas when you exhale through your mouth, which sometimes you need to do because you need to activate your vagus nerve, If you exhale through your mouth, it's very relaxing for your nervous system, but you're also not getting as much of the oxygen absorption. So just a little difference. I always say do what makes you comfortable. But if you want that max O2, breathe through your nostril. Bars. And then the open mouth breathing, ocean breathing. We did that recently at the event I did on Sunday, and that was so healing. The ocean breathing it's Uyaji. Uyaji is the Sanskrit yogic term for the breath. And what it does is this open mouth, in and out. And on the exhale, you're slightly contracting your throat to kind of push out that air to create a sound, activating your vocal cords. So you create a sound on your exhale. So it sounds like the ocean. Okay. Welcome to my ASMR video. Those things are ridiculous, but I have watched it just to be like amazed at the fact that people do this. So the other one, the open mouth breathing is great for sex. Lamaze is what women go to when they're having a baby, the Lamaze class. And they go, or at least that's what they did in the movies, because I've never really been to a class. But that open mouth breathing helps to relax your pelvis so that the baby can come out. And when we're having sex, if we do have pelvic tension, whether it's from mental stress, we're thinking too much, so we can't relax. And since we are not relaxing, our body's saying no to sex. So naturally, your body's going to protect you. If it thinks you're saying no to sex, it's going to tighten up, right? So it's important to send the right signals to your body of what you want. So if you are trying to lay down and have pleasure, whether it's with yourself or somebody else, then opening your mouth, loosening your jaw. You have your cranial nerves in here in your face. So when you do a jaw stretch, that helps to loosen them up, and you can feel immediately more blood go to your head, everything downwards. So let's pause and do that for a minute. I want you to open up your mouth. Open up your mouth wide. So feel with your index and forefinger the corners of your mouth, the muscles, so like those tight bands. And let's massage them in a circular motion. And use your fingertips to give you some deep tissue on the muscles, upwards in your cheeks. Get that mandible. Get that mandible. And then you're gonna go down here. Is that the mandible? Is that the maxilla? Okay. And go down here into your lower jaws. Okay. So is it tight? If it's tight, it just means you haven't done this in a while. But these are stretches that, especially if you're doing any public speaking, if you're doing a lot of calculations, head work, stretching your face, your jaws is actually going to open up your brain to some more blood flow and energy. Like I can actually hear better right now. Crazy. Yeah. I think I do them, but I just did a real deep one right now for y'all. So apparently I step it up. Feels good though. So stretching your fat first as a precursor to doing your meditations is going to help the blood flow more. The next thing I do is rotate my neck. So let's rotate it slowly, clockwise. Okay. And if you feel some tightness on either side, just take a deep breath and relax into that area. Other direction. And then next, we're going to do pull our shoulders, pull our hands behind our back, clasp behind your back. Open up your chest, shoulder blades together. Deep breath in through your nose. I want you to feel your lungs really fill up. Feel that pressure in your rib cage. Inhale. Exhale slowly. Again. Let me check these. We're going to do our body scan next. Mandible. Thank you. You know, I'll be mixing up these. I need to get I'm looking at so much energy books. Like I know all the meridians and stuff, but I forgot the basic bones and muscles. Oh, so let's start to lay down. Not start, lay down. Everybody lay down. I am not going to lay down because I'm going to do the singing bowl for you. And I'm going to do it over here. So hopefully it's not too loud. So we're going to do a body scan. A body scan is using your mental attention, your inner awareness to sense into how you feel inside. So there's two kinds of presence that we can have. One is to be very aware and present with the outside environment. That's called exteroception, right? Exteroception. So exit out, outside of you. I'm really aware and connected with what's going on out there with different people around me. I can read the room. Okay. Now I'm going to go inside, interoception. Inside my body, you can literally like walk past me naked. I won't see it because I'm inside, paying attention. So turning your attention inside, how you feel, take it a step deeper, and we're going to pay attention to different areas of our body. So we're going to give some attention to each chakra. And the first thing we want to do is pay attention to our head. And that's the energy inside your brain, just in general, your head. Imagine like it's a body of light and you're walking inside. How does it feel inside of there? And you use your breath as a sonar when you're doing this. So as you take your breath in and you exhale, that expansion fills you up, and then that contraction, as you're relaxing, creates movement. It creates a sonar for you to be able to read, for you to feel depth, right? Feel differences in pressure, feel differences in energy. And that's what breathing does for you. It's expanding and relaxing, expanding and relaxing. And as it does that, when you breathe, you're creating a picture of the inside of your body. And as you practice, it'll get so much easier, and you'll just be able to tap in and be like, yo, the right side of my gut is going crazy. Okay, just be patient with yourself and enjoy what you do sense. So going in. This also gives you the opportunity to find any areas of tension and release them. And how you release them is with your exhale. You're already naturally relaxing. Things are closing in, grounding. Bring it with you. That same wave of relaxation that comes with each exhale is going to carry the tension that you notice with it. And before we move to the next center, breathe a deep breath. And with your intention, send that energy into your head chakra. And send it going straight through the middle of your third eye between your brows. And just let it saturate like white light. So during this practice, until you adopt a chakra system that you want to learn and practice, it's okay now to use white light, rainbow light. That's the energy of, it's a healing energy. It has all the colors in it. It represents our energy body in all of its vibrations and flavors. So rainbow light, this white rainbow light, just like when you look at the sunlight and you see those rays, it's exactly what is swirling around us. We can see it. So imagine that light coming in, just warm, saturating your whole entire head. And then on your next exhale, bring your awareness down to your throat chakra. As you breathe, notice any tension in your neck, in your throat when you swallow. Even energetically, just energy in your throat chakra that wants to move. It could be words, it could be a memory, it could be a lost connection, a hidden gift, something that feels like it wants to be free and move. And you can give it the permission to move. Just exhale and let it go with your breath. Take a deep breath into your throat chakra. Again, seeing that warm light, rainbow healing light coming in, saturating your channels, pushing out all obstacles. And on your next exhale, bringing your awareness down to your heart center, the center of your chest. Pull your shoulders back and open it up. Any areas that are dim, that are not lit up, full of positive energy. Using your awareness and your breath to send energy there. Lighting up the dark areas. Your heart is your strongest energy center, 60 times more than your brain. It puts out the strongest center, the strongest energy signal. And so with that, you can feel this unconditional love, infinite space. That's where that energy resides. And you can tap into it at any time. You can spread it throughout your whole body, just using your breath. So take a full inhale, filling up your lungs, all the way to the base of your lungs. And exhale, seeing this light radiate through your body. Warm rainbow light. And bring your awareness down to the center of your abdomen, near your belly button, your gut, your earth grounding center, intuition, where you feel enjoyment. And as you breathe, notice any areas that are dim, and also notice the areas that are bright, full. And with each breath, you're taking in this powerful energy, taking in oxygen, air, and it's filling up all those spaces, seeing even your darkest spots become bright. Take a deep breath, filling up on this positive energy and sending it where it needs to go. Now bring your awareness down to your pelvis. Below your belly button, and a little bit lower where your bladder would be. And just sense into this area. What does it feel like? Can you feel your pelvic floor move when you exhale and inhale? Can you feel your pelvic floor expand when you take in air and relax when you exhale? That has to be one of the most comforting feelings. Just paying attention to how your pelvic floor goes out when you inhale and comes in when you exhale. I mean, I could do that all day, but we have to move on. Gonna come back to that one after this class. Ah, and to steal our body scan, you want to expand your awareness to your entire body. Take a deep breath in and scanning from your head down as you exhale. Letting that wave of relaxation pass through your body as you drop your jaw, your shoulders, your hips, letting your body press into the surface, full weight. And we're going to do one last thing before we move on. And this is to demonstrate how you can direct your energy to any part of your body with your mind. So I want you to put both of your hands out like you're in receiving position. So upward palms, and your non-dominant hand. So for me, it'd be my left. Your left-handed would be your right. Both palms out. I want you to look at this hand and breathe into the hand. And imagine that you're breathing energy And you can see this energy is light. You're breathing it into your hand. So look at it for a moment. And for this exercise, nose, in and out through your nose. Slow, intentional exhales. Keep breathing into your hand. And now close your eyes. Don't look at it anymore. Just continue breathing, directing that energy toward your hand. Just that one hand. Now even being able to feel your inhale coming from your hand, just as you breathe back and forth. All right. Breathe normally and put your hands up in the air, both hands up. And I want you to feel your hands, just feel them. Do they feel different? Does one feel different than the other? What's the difference? Put it in the comments, but take a moment to feel them. Okay. So, all right, what do we have in these comments? Let's see. My non-dominant hand feels more full. Yes. I was still laying down. It felt good, right? I told you it's going to be a lot of breathing and relaxing in this class. I'm very relaxed too. Like I feel really good. And the funny thing is, I made this my job. Like I do it for myself, y'all. Just playing. But it does feel good. How does your hand feel, Greg? It still worked though. Left hand was warm. Nice. And that's what you can do to any part of your body. So I've done that to my vagina, right? Imagine focusing on your sexual center if it's something that's been kind of dull. Imagine focusing on your heart center if it feels empty or low energy in your heart center, you're sad, you're lonely, upset, any of those things, you're grieving, especially if you're grieving. Intentionally sending energy to your heart center when you're grieving is going to help bring healing to you, right? And you got a choice. You can sit there and stay in the same situation and let it pass at its own pace, or you can do something for yourself. Do something for yourself, and you're like, I'm going to help myself process this energy. And that's beautiful. Thank y'all for participating in that. That was one of my favorite things to do because it really shows you that you can send energy anywhere. Like that was your hand. And we only did it for a little bit. Usually I do that for like 5 minutes. So imagine after 5 minutes, this hand is like, it's like vibrating. The longer you do it, the more that you build up the charge, as long as you're staying present and relaxed. So if you're doing any of these energy practices and you start to feel agitated, you might be just trying too hard, because if the intention is to send relaxing signals and connect and promote synchronicity, and I'm feeling stressed out and agitated, then maybe I'm breathing in a way where I'm creating agitation and stress versus relaxation. And that can happen. So it's also something to be aware of when you're doing this breath practice, this breath work, is to be aware of when you're not getting the result you thought, like you're creating some harm, whether it's frustration or um, stress in any way, then healing, right? Let me look at these comments. Let's see. I expected it to be cold from having it raised in laying down position. It's sweating now. Wow, you got some energy going through there. You might be able to get a fireball going eventually. I mean, I say that in jest, but I do this fireball workout with my hands where in the sunlight's the best place to do it. But rub them together. Rub them together. And then you put them close together and just do this. You don't actually touch, you just do this. And you feel this magnetism opposition. It's like you have two magnets that are the same charge and they're pushing against each other. That's what you're going to feel because you're electric, right? And you have charges. And so I can create friction, I can create energy. Ooh. Okay, so now I got a fatter disc. So you can do this too. And you work your way up. And this is a simple way to build awareness. That's so cool. So I'm not touching myself, but I can feel the energy. Okay, I'm not gonna do this for a while because we need to finish this up, but it's fun. That's my fireball practice. So what stress does to your experience of life. The reason why this is so important to us and why we should prioritize reducing our stress is because it does long-term lead to all the chronic illnesses that we know are so common and that we attribute to lifestyle, which is true, right? Lifestyle. And sometimes we attribute them to heredity. And remember, I was saying that we carry our ancestors' DNA, their stories, their experiences, history. So we also are carrying those stress responses. And I'll tell you, from the older generations in my family, stress levels like high. Like I'm the calmest person in my family. Yeah, growing up, yeah, I would definitely say I'm calmer than you would expect me to be. So we had a lot of just like stressful energy and things like that. And as you grow up with that, you can normalize it and take on those behaviors. And I did in some ways, but in other ways, it was an example for me not to do. Like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be angry all the time. I don't want to be cussing people out all the time. So that is one way to go about it, right? But there are certain triggers of behavior that you have just from being around a person and just being around people that are like that, being raised by somebody that has high stress. Even when you're pregnant, if you have a stressful pregnancy, your baby does have a higher, more sensitive stress response, or an inflexible stress response where you're not able to calm down after the stress is gone. Stress should be temporary. It's meant for survival. It's useful as hell. We need it, but it's not supposed to be all day, all year, all week. It's not supposed to be long term. And when it's long term, it causes disease. And that's just as simple, as you can get it. So when we have stress, we have reduced sensation, creativity, and the sensation comes from your nerve endings, your nerves not getting the signals, not getting the information that they're supposed to get, because of lack of flow, tension, all that. Creativity, your sexual energy is your creative energy. It has so many different facets. So those two things you might notice are linked. You don't feel creative at the same time you don't feel sexy, or you feel super horny when you're also wanting to create, like you're just wanting to create a bunch of different things. But that's your creative, that's your sexual energy, and it's a power. It doesn't always have to go towards sexual pleasure. It's actually a very rich source of creativity. Awareness, reduced awareness, right? When you're stressed, you're not that much aware of other things, especially positive things. You're not as aware of other people. You're not as, what do you call that? Compassionate, considerate. All that goes out the window when you're super stressed. It's just natural because stress is about survival. And when you're stressed all the time, you're in survival mode. Okay. Reduced pleasure. We talked about that. Hyper stress response, where you have a big reaction to a little deal. And big deal, little deal is something that one of my best friends does with her daughter, and she's 6. And it works with everybody, including adults. So in your head saying, is this a big deal? Because I'm giving it big deal energy, or is it a little deal? And if you realize like, oh, this ain't worth no big deal energy, you save a lot of energy and you spend less time in that state of distress and suffering and being pissed off. Heart rate variability. That is your heart's ability to return back to homeostasis, turn back to normal, to balance, to I am safe mode, right? Versus survival mode. And like I was saying, if you get stuck in a stress response, it's all the time versus temporary for your situation, your temporary situation, it causes long-term damage. I did really good with the gifts on this presentation. Like, you did good. Okay. And next, 10 chronic diseases caused by chronic stress. What time is it? Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all, tell me in the chats if you have to go, because I know I ran all the way over. I tried to make this as short as I could. Heart disease, asthma, cancer, viruses and infections, diabetes, depression, obesity, Alzheimer's wears down your brain, GI problems, stomach problems, digestion problems, and accelerated health and aging. Accelerated aging and death. So these are simple ways that you can implement what we talked about today into your situations. And if you guys want to interject any other situations, if you want to like ask some questions here, you can. But I'm going to run over some of them. You can become overwhelmed at work with to-do list and you freeze up, right? It happens all the time. We have so much shit to do. You don't do anything. And what you need in that moment, if you think about the body's heat signatures, the energetic heat signatures, what would it look like if you're just overwhelmed with so much shit in your head that you're frozen up, right? You have less energy in your limbs, less energy in your gut. This gut actually probably feels pretty heavy. And then because you're not enjoying, and then your mind's filled up. So maybe I need to redistribute my energy in my lower chakras, ground myself, and also move, right? Movement. Like if it's a situation where you have dim areas in your lower limbs, movement is gonna like light that shit right back up. So doing movement, just doing something simple, even if it's turning on some music and twerking, turning on a song and doing the cha-cha, moving is going to help you, okay? You have tight shoulders, a stiff neck, and a headache. What do y'all think that is? You tell me. If I have tight shoulders, stiff neck, and a headache, what can I do for myself? And then also somebody answer this one. What should I do if I've traveled abroad and I can't go to the bathroom? I have cramps. I have like constipation. What should I do? All right. So while y'all do that, I'm going to go over a few of these. So Fatu, body scan, send positive healing energy to that part of your body and breathe with intention. Yes, yes, exactly. So always putting attention in where attention is where energy goes, right? So if I put my mind onto any part of my body, that's where the energy is going to go. Not to say it's not going to go anywhere else, but I've concentrated a beam, a laser onto that. So you guys know what a laser does? It concentrates a beam of light through a lens. And so what you do with your light, your energy, right, is you're concentrating that focus on through a lens. The lens would be your mind. And so it's like shining your attention through your mind onto something, anything. And that's what you're doing. That's laser focus. So the more you practice having laser focus, the easier it gets. I used to have a lot of fun sending sexual energy to my partners and just like sitting there and see if they get a hard on or see if they like get horny. I remember one time I did it while like he was sleeping and like he turned over and was like rubbing it on me. I was like, oh, too much information. Never, not in this class. All right. So the other one, okay, so I'm going to answer this one and then we'll move on. If you've traveled abroad and can't go to the bathroom and you have cramps, that is your digestive system, right? So it probably means you're ungrounded because you've moved land. So the energy in one land is different from the energy in another land. So now you need to ground with the land that you're in. So doing a meditation where you can do the body scan and ground as in like feel your body on the actual earth. Going outside, directly connecting with that earth energy, you're going to automatically start to sync with it. Like you can go on a hike and your body's going to start to sync up with the earth's vibration, which is why hikes are so therapeutic. So just like this, wherever you go, be in that land. If you can get on the earth, you do that. If you can't, then do a meditation where you're visualizing yourself grounding into that, into the ground and using your belly, your solar plexus, your earth to fill up that. You're going to focus on that energy center. Okay. All right. So this is just a few stats to show us how I'm missing some pictures. Oh my God. To show us how our stress affects our health. Okay. So 60% of people with IBS meet the criteria for anxiety, depression, some kind of mental disorder. And it's showing you that their stress, their mental stress is directly affecting their gut. And IBS sucks, right? It means like you're not digesting things. So the energy flow in here is messed up. Plus, that's where your serotonin is made. So also means your enjoyment is probably going down. 45% of men with prolonged stress have men with prolonged stress have 45% higher risk of developing diabetes. And I mean, I'm sure women is higher, but this is the stat I found. But part of that is the stress and cortisol. When we're stressed out, cortisol is what is released into our blood. And it's good for short term, not good for long term. And because we have long-term cortisol, higher levels of cortisol in our blood, it's affecting the absorption of the sugar, our blood sugar. So it accumulates, and now you got diabetes. Okay. It has nothing to do, not that it doesn't, but it doesn't always have to do with diet. A lot of people have eaten great, eat fine, and they have diabetes and their stress is through the roof. You lose 1.5 years of your life whenever your brain goes through a traumatic event. So let's say this pandemic, if it was traumatic, which I mean, it was traumatic in a different way. In some ways, it also depends on the person, right? How you were affected. But 1.5 years, y'all, that's what it took. If you can remember, a car accident, something traumatic. I don't want to bring up examples and you guys are just like, woo, got all of them. But 1.5 years is what it takes off of the age of your brain. And the age of your brain, losing that is what contributes to Alzheimer's. It loses its function. So having a stressed out brain, having stress responses that are very high throughout your life is going to have you age faster. And the last one, 67% of American adults say that they've experienced more stress during the pandemic, which sounds very, 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 very likely, including the kids, right? Don't even count the kids. And now you have like the kids and the parents stressed out. So it's a lot. I got to work from the laptop now. The kids don't get to see each other. That's stressful, y'all. So breath work practice plan. This is a example of what you can do at home at your own pace and frequency. So the tip is frequency over longevity. Make it enjoyable. And if you can, do it with others. Teach somebody how to do this. Like, share. That it makes it so much more fulfilling, and you'll understand your practice more because you've had to put it into your own words and teach somebody. So I always encourage you guys, like, go take this away and go teach somebody else something you learned, even if it's one thing. Teach them how to breathe and spread it that way. So first thing you're going to do is create boundaries when you practice, and at least 15 minutes, then work your way up at your pace. Put your phone on do not disturb and create the ambiance you want. So incense, candles, music, whatever you want. First thing to do is move and stretch, because you don't want a stiff body. You want the energy to be able to move. So you can do simple stretches, do a little downward dog, touch your toes, get your back, make sure you stretch your back, and bring flexibility to your energy body, because that precedes your physical body, right? So you breathe into each of these stretches, get the tight areas, and then you'll be able to fill up with more energy. You'll have actually more literal space in your channels to receive more energy. Number 3, intentional breathing. What we've been doing. I can't rush through this, guys. I am the long-winded preacher. Foam roll and massage your muscles too. Yes, yes. Fatu has a lot of great videos for that. I share them on Instagram sometimes. So if you guys want to put your Instagram tag in there, Fatu, and you're in the chat, so people can see. She's really good at like working on your body. And so many other things too. I like her voice. Intentional breathing. Number 4, meditation. So once you have done breathing exercise, like let's say that you want to do the physiological sigh, that's going to help to relax your nervous system. If you're nervous before doing something, actually, if you're really nervous, I'll be like, that's going to help activate the vagus nerve, which we didn't get to talk about today, but look it up. I'm actually going to do a video on the vagus nerve and post it on YouTube. So I'll send that to everybody who's subscribed on the newsletter. You'll get that. But the vagus nerve is the master nerve that runs from our brainstem, innervates all of our chakra energy centers, like literally all of them, including your pelvis. It's the nerve that all the other bundles of nerves branch into. So when we can activate that, because it governs the parasympathetic, the relax part of the nervous system, the relax and digest, the chill, the yawn part of the nervous system. When it does that, when you activate that, you'll start to feel the effects of it. So yawning, that's something that you do naturally when your body's said to itself, I want to relax. But you can also yawn breath. The ocean breath is kind of like yawning, right? And it signals to your body, I want to relax. So it's a breath, but it's also a yawn that your body already knows. It already knows exactly what that means. So when you put it intentionally into your practice, you're like, okay, body's like, okay, she said, relax. We're going to relax. And that's what it does. It's great. And then you can finish off your practice with a meditation. And it could be a meditation of any kind. It could be a slow dancing Tai Chi meditation. It could be a sitting formal meditation. But the difference between the breathing and the meditation is lack of focus on breathing and more on a meditative process, just being present, really. Just being present. Intentional breathing is more like an exercise, right? Because I'm focused on this, directing my energy here. Meditation, I'm not directing shit anywhere. I'm just going to be there. And you can do meditations like, in different ways, but for this practice, think of it like a workout. You stretch, you do your hard lifting, and then you do your cool down. The meditation part is your cool down. And you can even walk. Doing a walking meditation would be just as beneficial. So make it what you want it, okay? We finished. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Okay, you guys got both of you. Okay, everybody has their things on there. I'm going to follow you too. Oh, wait, I already follow both of y'all, actually. So it doesn't matter. I follow everybody. Fatu. So you guys' tags are in the chat. Can everybody see it? Let me see. I'm going to put it in here. We post it. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat to everyone. And so this, put them in the chat and I'm going to answer them. It's hard for me to do this and type at the same time. Okay. There we go. And then Fatu. Oh, she got a lot of A's. That's 4 A's, right, Fatu? All right, so I put everybody's tag in there. Okay, got it. All right, so it's Q&A time. If you guys have any questions, you can put them in the chat. You want to learn it? You know, I just 4 A's, not 5. Okay, did I do 5? Girl, you know, I told you math is not my forte. Okay, I do biology and I have a good memory, but I can't do math. All right, Greg, it's 4 A's, not 5. Okay, don't copy me. So the magnetic hand thingy, first thing you can do is good to do it when you're relaxed. So if you do some deep breaths first and then rub your hands together, and this is gonna get them warm, but also create that friction energy, right? It's gonna get them charged up. So, and then once you do that, then you put them very close together, like an inch, and then you move in circles. So opposite, like this, like this. That's what I'm doing. So really close and slow. And just like you were doing the directing your energy into your hand, you're going to do that while you're doing this. So breathe and just gently focus on your hands, and naturally the energy is going to go there. You don't even have to direct it. Just breathe and focus on your hands. And what you do is when you start to feel any resistance, massage it. Keep rubbing. I don't know if you ever made bread, but it's like kneading dough, but you're kneading the energy. And if you notice, if you hold your breath, it might go down. You'll feel like, whoop, it went away. So keep breathing. And start to push against each other slowly. And if you feel it go away, circle again. So it's really just building up a charge with circular motions and mental awareness of your energy. And just try it. That's all you literally do. And as you do it, it'll get easier. Not easier, it'll get more apparent that you have energy in your hands, and you work your way up to a ball. And then like I had a ball like this one time and I was doing this and then I got distracted and dropped it. See, that's what happens when you grow up watching all these anime. You know, you do your practice watching fireballs. I felt them. Yes, awesome. Okay, isn't it fun? Like, it's so much fun. See, Fatu, when doing a body scan, do you recommend doing guided through music or someone else's voice, or listening to your own breath? I recommend doing it on your own, because you could learn the body scan process by listening. So learn and get the process kind of downloaded. That's what it is. You're downloading the process through listening. But once you got it, or you know how to do your own, then you don't need to listen. And it's better to not listen, because you're going in and you're wanting to focus and concentrate, and the less distractions you have, the better. And also having it go at your own pace versus somebody else's voice. Because I know for me, I'm going at teaching pace, which is a little faster. Practice pace, I'll be doing this body scan for at least 30 minutes, because you know we have different centers, and then sometimes if I do feel a dullness in one center, I'll stay there longer. So better to pay attention to your own breath, the own voice in your head, whatever it is, and just be present. Can you go back to full screen? Did I leave full screen? Let me see. Did I go somewhere? Oh, you know, when I put the chat on, it went away, huh? Am I back? And if there's anything you guys want to look at in this presentation, you have it. So not you have it right now, but it'll be sent to you in an email once the class finishes. It's like automatic. So you'll get it. I'm sorry I went all the way over. I'm working on timing, but I am known for being long-winded. You know what it is? I just get so excited. I want to teach you everything. You're here just small. Oh, I got you. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Let me stop the share because we're done with that. And then, all right, you see me? All right, cool. All right. You're right. I had you just staring at that thing, just being tiny in the corner. Oh. So what I want you guys to take away from this is creating some kind of practice for yourself. You can pick one of the breathing practices we did, or you can do a full one. And I would say, like, try out the full one, at least on the weekends. Like, pick a day of the week to do it because it's so beneficial to put apart that much time. And what I do is in the morning is best. If I miss my morning one, then I'll do an evening session. But it's really helps in the morning because you can just go through the day with a lot more clarity and smoothness. Like, just be gliding through the day versus stumbling through the day. And these practices can really be beneficial. It was perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I really do love teaching, and I'm looking forward to doing this one again, but also going to the next one. So you guys will get an invite to the emotional intelligence one and then the sexual wellness one. And I actually wasn't sure if I wanted to do that order because I really want to do sexual wellness for Valentine's Day area. So which one of you guys think should go first, emotional intelligence or sexual wellness? Because they're both going to branch out from this breathing course. So let me know. I'm going to apply some of the things we did here strictly with sexual energy, experiences, working with sexual trauma. And then the emotional intelligence one, I'm going to use those breathing practices to go deeper into the interoception, how we feel, and then how to actually process emotional energy with thought processes, with writing things out, with breathing. And you can't just breathe an emotion out, but what you do is you create space for it to transform, for it to metabolize. So like I was saying, you hold it in, then it can't metabolize, it can't transform into something else that is beneficial for you. Just like we take in food and our bodies digest that clump of food into these individual molecules, nutrients that we can actually use that benefit us. And then it spits out the other shit. So that's what we're doing down to the energetic level. We're metabolizing energy. And if we don't give that emotional energy the space to metabolize, then we get toxic inside with that energy. So that was my spiel. Let me see. Follow your intuition. Emotional intelligence. Okay. All right. Still on the fence. You guys are not helpful. All right. So if you guys have any more questions, let's just close the class with a heart intention, because we are doing this so that we can live better lives and be better people, but also that contributes to a better world. Like, we are definitely a part of this world, and our energy matters, and it matters the most to our small world. So we can send out this energy as gratitude, and also with the intention that somebody else is going to learn something that's going to help them, and help them live their best life. All right. So thank you for being here. Let's take a deep breath together. May this information, this class be a blessing to everyone that attended and everyone that is part of their lives as well. May it be abundant and multiply in blessings and wisdom and help us all to live our best life and have the fullest experience that we can. May it be so. Namaste, Ashe, Amen. And so that's the class. I want to know you guys' favorite part of the class. If you could leave me that in the comments before you go. And I'm going to see y'all in the next class, which is February 9th. So if you can't go, you can get the replay. But February 9th is our next class. And so it is. Yes. Thank you. So before you guys go, leave me a comment of your favorite part of the class so that I know, can always better it and make it better. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it works for you and the next class. So we're going to keep this going. I'm excited. You're so welcome. And if you guys happen to not get the invites, I'll probably ask a couple of you if you got it. Let me know. Do not go without getting that replay. Okay. I like everything. If I have to choose, the guided meditation. Yes. I want to lay down with you. You know, it's great too when the summer comes, body scan. Yes. Okay. Thank you guys so much for that. It lets me know what, is useful and what's working. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help. So if you have questions, if you come against any bumps in the road while you're doing these things, I'm always available to through email. So just email me or DM me at the Goddess in the Mirror Instagram, and I'll answer you. And actually, no, not the Goddess in the Mirror one. That one I ignore sometimes. But the It's Green Body Instagram, I'll answer that one. So if you have any questions, email me at greenbodyconnect.com. Greenbody. What is my email? connect@greenbodywellness.com. All right, bye y'all. I'm done. Like I need to rest my brain and like meditate and just like lay there. I'm going to do that breathing we did with the pelvic breathing. That was my favorite because it really fills up your whole cavity with energy. So I'm going to go do that one. But I love you guys. Thank you. Yes, I am. Bye.